It was 3 days till Christmas, but I'm no longer worried. I found a garage, I don't need to hurry. It has many cases, all just so right. One more each day, what a wonderful sight. So Merry Casemas to all, I hope they delight. On the 10th day of Casemas, my workbench gave to me a Strut Spring hook compressor kit. So these are used when you're doing suspension work and want to replace the coil spring, so the actual coiled spring that is on top of a strut. Typically on the front end of vehicles, so if you have a McPherson strut front end, there'll be a spring that's riding on an overall strut assembly. There'll be a pillow ball bearing at the top, which is what allows for your steering, but you need to remove that to actually take the spring out and change it, or to change the shock and leave the spring in place. And to do that, you need to compress the spring. So they're usually held under tension by that pillow block and a seat at the bottom. And what these let you do is you clamp these onto either end of the spring, so on the actual coils of the spring, and tighten it down. And as it tightens down, it squishes the spring. And once the spring is squished, then you can actually release the pressure on the top. You can take the bolt off that holds the top of the strut mount on and remove the spring and change out the strut. There's a couple safety pins that you can see, and those lock the spring into this. But these things still are rather dangerous. If you think about it, the spring of a vehicle is holding up several thousand pounds, and as you're going over bumps, that spring is compressing, and that's a lot of force that those are usually taking. And so what these do when they squish that spring down is store a lot of potential energy. And the risk is if something broke, so if like the threads on these broke or they slipped off or something like that, that spring is going to go flying, and it's not going to be pretty. So these do need to be used with quite a bit of care and kept oiled so that nothing binds up here and doesn't slip or anything like that, and should be done very carefully just to make sure nothing goes wrong. And you definitely always want to use them in pairs so you're compressing the spring down evenly. There are other styles of these types of tools, ones that have kind of more claw looking things, and there are also even like larger wall mount ones that press the whole spring in one shot as well. But these are usually the more inexpensive version. They do work, I have used them a number of times, but like I said, you just have to be pretty careful about them. And so for the 10th day of Casemas, that's a Strut Spring compressor set. One case done and another day closer. Become a subscriber, don't miss another. Merry Casemas to all, and we'll see you tomorrow.